And what I wanted to mention as well, we are actually going to be having a wonderful fair event on the 3rd of November 2019. Now, this interview is going to be kept on YouTube for, I hope, many years. But we still, for those of you who are watching this in October or early November, please come on the 3rd of November, because Björn is going to be our guest, and he's going to be giving a great lecture about breaking the paradigm, and also he's going to be giving us a wonderful journey through his experience with body mastery, because apart from being a wonderful mentor, Björn is actually also very actively engaged into a new type of exercises called body mastery that combines our spirit, our mind, and our bodies. And this is something I would like to you, Björn, to really take on for now and tell us about this, why it's important to work with our bodies.
It's said our bodies are temple, and that has just become, a saying which has very little meaning. Today we see the revolution of health and fitness, and how we start to take much better care of ourselves. But there is still many more levels to go, When we talk of human potential, our full potential, what is that, right?
Yes.
And if we look at all those who have lived the ideal life, the ultimate lives, if you look at our history, all those human beings that we look up to that seem to have the best possible life, right? Very few have developed their bodies to their full potential. And our body is, our chemical and biological factory, which creates all those feelings we want to feel when we feel the best.
Yeah.
And if we don't take care of it, we won't experience those feelings. We will experience lesser feelings. So again, that level of our full potential, to live in that zone of our full potential, is the next step for humankind. Right now, there are, if we look in history, we look up to yogis and healers for their fantastic work. However, I have not seen any yogi and healing masters which have had, perfect bodies up into the old age and they die. There are very, very, very few.
Yeah.
So if you look at, again, Gandhi and Mother Teresa and all those people who have made their spiritual journey all the way to their full potential, they didn't include their bodies. So the body become, less important, and the mind and the spirit becomes everything. This time, now the time we are in, it's all three. Yes. Mind, body, and spirit. So we don't want to feel pain, we don't want to suffer, and still we do a lot. This life journey, we all feel a lot of sadness, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. And it's time to ease that and start to leave those lesser energies into the higher, where we feel great, we feel good to great, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So that's my passion. And it comes from doing the wrong thing the first half of my life. That's, so I was one of those who just overdid everything in sports until the day where I just needed to just pause everything and start to take care of me.
Yeah.
And that's how I started my journey on, my healing journey and yogic journey. And then over, almost 30 years now, they have come together to a system or an understanding that there are three things that we have come to this planet to do, ultimately. Yeah. And that is to master ourselves, master our body, and master life.
So easy.
Yeah, it's so easy. And if we are not aware of that, we tend to just live, and then life most often become less, because with everything, it's a muscle that needs to be trained. The mind needs to be trained, the body needs to be trained, and the spirit needs to be trained. And we need to know what to avoid and what to take in, so there is this journey of understanding all of this, which is this self-transformation journey that we are on.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is my passion, and I just simply like to feel good.
Oh, yeah.
and fantastic.
That's
awesome.
That's the whole point. Yeah, it feels awesome. Well, when I met you, the vibrant energy that you bring is so affecting, in a positive way. And that's why I think when people will meet you on the 3rd of November, they will have the same feeling, that the vibrant energy of health, of well-being, that's something that really stays with, as for later. You also mentioned something when we talked previously, something that I don't know, was it you casted this saying, a homo illuminus, or is it something that came out from somebody else? But I wanted to mention that we, when we speak in terms of next step for our evolution, which is now, we can call it many ways the new type of human being. But people who are behind the Gaia Kingdom project, we introduced Gaian. As a Gaian is an entity who's a human, but has done the actual work, has evolved to the degree that he's not here to just survive, he's here to thrive. He's not here to just, be a blame kind of person, but he's to take a responsibility. He's a guardian of our planet. He's the person who has a high empathy. He cares about the environment. So, all that is, there's so many of us. And I just feel it's good to try to have that kind of uniform understanding, and even the language that we use for this. So I will put like a bit of a picture on the side here, just to explain the idea between 3D dimension entity, a human being, or 5D Gaian or Homo illuminus, we can say a person. So what is it to you, like, when you were to explain, what is it to be a Homo illuminus?
It's to be spiritual aware.
Yeah.
And it's
for people who are not aware, what it means to be on a spiritual path, because we don't need to convince people who are already on this side. There's so many of us. But if somebody is not really understanding, and maybe he's in a bit of two worlds at the same time, in a sort of gray sphere, what would you tell them? What is it to be on a spiritual path?
Okay. Well, actually, I would like to just go back before I talk about that and say, so the third dimension, the society that we are all brought into, that is very left brain focused. So a lot of structure, the clock, 24 hours a day, a lot of to-do list, a lot of must, a lot of pressure, which is limiting us and make us, a lesser energy of being free and alive and creative, which is the right side, right brain.
Yeah.
So in that state, when we are suppressed and we have, anxiety and stress, we have a whole bunch of DNAs which are dormant and are here that's our job, that's our spiritual job, to awaken those, to turn those on. But in that stressed society, they won't be turned on. Absolutely. So for that to happen, we need pause, we need rest, and we need to start our journey, to really dive into what's important. Why am I here? What's my purpose? What's my passions? What's my talents? And start to dive into those. What's my dreams? Yeah. All that is so important. That's the next step for all of us, to think about those questions and start to find them, right? Search and find. Yeah. And when we do, we also leave time and we come into something that's called no time. And that's when, you have done something. You can do yoga, you can be on a vacation, you can, do something in your work or play with your kids, whatever, but you lose the track of time. And when you look, it can either be a very short amount of time have passed and you thought there was much more, or the opposite. Yeah. Right? Yeah. You can even, when you do this for a longer period of time, which I have done a lot in my life, you lose track of days. You don't know what day of the week it is.
It's only now. It's only now.
You don't know the number of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So to live in the spiritual realm, the fifth dimension, is that is the basic to understand, the creativity, all of that. And then, of course, there are everything from fundamental things, in our daily lives, how to take care of it, how to take care of our emotions, not to get bogged down, to always have a positive outlook on life, and take, our time not to create drama or get sucked into drama, but be, a tone setter, a good vibe spreader.
Yeah, yeah.
So we actually take down drama. If we come into drama, we tone it down. We are firemen.
Absolutely. Firemen.
That's also part of the spiritual life.
Yeah.
And then the ultimate is to understand what all the great teachers has understood. It's how to connect with our divine part of ourselves. Yeah. There's two parts of us, you know? And one is the kid which has come to earth in school to learn and to grow. The other part is the wise one. Yeah. And you start to listen to that wise voice inside of us to make better decisions, Yeah. And that is the teacher who is bringing up the child within us. And sooner or later on this path, they will merge and it will become much more easy as we go. But it's like a muscle. We need to practice it. You need to be aware not to take in too much of the third dimensional noise and drama, all the terrible things that is going on, to just know it's happening, yes, but fill yourself with good stuff, with wisdom, with creativity, feed your dreams, feed your passion, give of yourself, when we create the energy wheel, which will come back tenfold. Oh, yeah. Right? So
abundance, yes.
Yeah, so it's very important to understand that this is like the same thing as going to the gym. It's a daily practice we need to have, and all of us has heavy moments, heavy days, and it's how you handle yourself in those days, which is the big difference if you get sucked into the drama and the lesser energies, or if you can keep it up. And, as we go, we learn more and more ways how to stay connected to source and keep ourselves in a positive mode.
Absolutely.
But it's not easy. It's not easy. No. It's tough, especially when we see so many tragic thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things you mentioned, which you mentioned at the beginning, was very important, that there is a lot of that we don't know about ourselves, and it's to do with how our genetics work and how much of our DNA has not been active, because it's actually been called dormant DNA or junk DNA. Junk DNA. So basically, we've been led to believe that we are, first of all, kind of enslaved to our genetic codes, which is not true, because epigenetics proves that this is wrong. And then also that, I don't know how much of it, but they say it's around 90% of this has not been active. That only gives us a sort of indication of how much more of potential we actually can strive for. And the funny thing is, I wouldn't say it's that funny, but it's extremely interesting that to activate this DNA, to activate the actual remaining parts of our DNA, we do need to go into really high vibrations. And the love, as a universal love, not just a kind of love we always talk about, but the actual universal love is the key to activate some of the of our DNA chains. I've watched this last time on Gaia.com, which is really inspiring documentary movie explaining this phenomenon. So it's really important for us to raise our vibration in order to get into this awakening and activation of that parts. And I think it's something that we can touch on the 3rd of November when we will meet you as well on the fair day. But now I wanted to talk about, Björn, also something that resonates with me on many levels, and many people may not know about it. It's to do with power versus force. And how do you use this philosophy of life, I should say, in order to attract, manifest reality, in order to overcome obstacles and to achieve dreams and goals?
All right. Okay, so, well, you can take this into every area of life. And if you take it first to ourselves and our bodies in sports, we see how young talents in every sport are used to take out the best in that talent, and then in a very short time of their lives, they are run down, they break, right? Yeah. So we're using force to bring out the best, and there are so many that's standing in line who want to take that spot of a sports person who have injuries that they can't be on the team or be on the highest levels. So there is so many who want to take that place, so no one is taking care of making that shift, so you take better care of yourself. Mm-hmm. Power is again when the heart is also feeling this, so you're in tune with your body and you feel the limits that you have, and you don't go over those limits, because then you're going to hurt yourself, which will lead to severe damages in the body, right? So it's a very fine line sometimes, and actually it's a gray area where you can, to take yourself and your body to the next level. Of course, you need to push yourself, but it's a fine area where you push yourself over the limit. Yeah. It's so you have to be super aware how to, and this is actually what yoga stands for. How to be united with yourself, with spirit and your body. Mm-hmm. And when you are that in tune, you feel so much better. Right? So you feel the whispers from the body, the gentle communication that the body sends to us. But if you're not in tune, you don't think and feel that way. So you just go.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
same with society in the big, you know, where we have forced ourselves in every area, you know, politics, every area.
Yeah.
It's again the same shift that needs to happen in every area. That basically is a shift from short-term thinking, force, to
Yeah.
long-term thinking, power and love.
Yeah. And it comes together, power and love. I think it naturally does. I think it may have much to do with the patriarchal system, which we've been experiencing for the millennia now, turning into the bit more balanced sort of way, that there is a harmony between the feminine and masculine. And I guess this is also an area of, I should say, maybe your expertise, that you are seeing the pattern that many of people who awaken spiritually, many men actually go into the feminine energy a bit too much, not having that young, with yin and yang, not having this balance properly. Can you tell us, how do you see this, and if this is in any way a troublesome issue? Is there anything that you think we could approach in a slightly different angle?
Oh boy, that's another huge question. Well, yes, I think it's again part of the shift, you know, part of us waking up to who we are, you know, to balance ourselves, to create balance and harmony inside of us. If we're a male or if we're a female, we need to understand what that really is, you know, and lose the old programming, which has programmed us in a lesser way, in a wrong way. So we become ourselves, you know, free from everything that holds us back, basically.
Yeah.
So it's also a next step in the evolution, you know, how we can see the warmth in specifically men that has been so hard for so many generations, that we become more feminized,
Yeah.
more gentle, right? More loving. But for that reason, we shouldn't lose our manly masculine power. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's to balance that. And it's the same with the women, you know, same thing, to balance that. So you become, what we're meant to be, instead of programmed in lesser ways.
Yeah, it's a massive subject, I appreciate what you just said. So maybe we should talk about it some other time again. But now we will be kind of going towards the end of our interview. Björn, what is it there that you think we should really add to it before we wrap up? Really, like before we finish, and what is important that you think we can be for the people who will be coming on the 3rd of November for the fair day?
Okay, well, let's make it for those who watch and those who come. So for everybody, it's important to train all our muscles, the mind and the body and the spirit. And whatever way we choose, you know, whatever way we find is right for us, is right for us. For those who have the possibility to come to the fair, there I will be speaking about, you know, how to make that shift more easy, you know, small, easy ways to implement in our lives. And also there will be a lecture about body mastery, where I will talk about this and show ways how to take care of the body with exercises and things like that. that will be a huge shift for everybody who comes, because these are, you know, from all the masters around the world in every area of health and fitness. When you take it down, there is this little core, these core values and norms and issues that if we practice those, it will make a huge difference in our health and fitness and how you take yourself and your body to your full potential.
Yeah.
So let's pause there for today, and welcome everybody who feels they wish to come, and those who want to know more. I think we can say that there will be more. We will talk some more, and I will start to make videos which will help everybody who is not here locally in Sweden, that
Yes.
can follow through the net.
Absolutely.
So
this is great.
Yeah.
Björn, thanks for that. And I cannot wait till the 3rd of November, because as you just said, there's going to be a theory, there's going to be practice. So for everyone who's watching and everyone who's really willing to come, please bring your yoga mat with yourself, because we are actually going to be doing the exercises, right? So we're going to be using the muscle between our ears, and we're going to be using our bodies as temples, right? And you're going to tell us and show us how it is done. So everyone, thank you very much for watching and for your time. 3rd of November, Wellbeing and Nature Gaia Fair. This is a place you can purchase organic, vegan crops and all the fruits and veg from local farmers. Books, lectures, seminars, sessions. There's going to be people who will be playing live music, and there's going to be a massively wonderful family atmosphere. You can't miss it. And please come. It's free. There is no admission charge. So running out of excuses not to come. For now, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, Björn.
Thank you.